The big reveal. In this week's Parsha, Yosef finally reveals himself to his brothers. Yosef's brothers until now were very afraid of this strange Egyptian king who seemed to have it out for them. But now that Yosef revealed himself to them, they were still afraid. Even though he was their brother, this was a brother who certainly could have bared a grudge against them, who certainly could have been upset at them, who certainly could have been out to get them or to hurt them for what they did to him. And Yosef sensed this from his brothers, so he reassures them. He says to them, Lo atem bachartim lihina, you didn't send me here. El Elokim, it was Hashem who sent me here. Yosef was telling the brothers, although you might have been the ones to drag me out of the pit and put me on the wagon, but I truly recognize that everything comes from Hashem. It wasn't you who sent me here, it was Hashem. Today is Asara b'Teves, the 10th day of Teves. This was the day that Nebuchadnezzar began his siege against the city of Yerushalayim. And we fast today. Why do we fast today? Because the Jewish people at that time did not see the message of Yosef. Who did they see camped outside their gates? They saw an evil king, Nebuchadnezzar. But who should they have seen outside their gates? Who should they have seen was laying siege? They should have realized that Hashem was laying siege. And they should have done teshuvah. They should have repented. The halacha is that if Asara b'Teves would fall out on Shabbos, we would fast even on Shabbos. Why? Because the commentaries explain that this was aschalta de parnusa. This was the beginning of the end for the Jewish people. Why was it the beginning of the end? It wasn't going to be for a long time until the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. This was the beginning of the end, and this was perhaps the most severe moment for the Jewish people. Because if at this moment they saw Nebuchadnezzar outside their gates, then they were not going to be saved. They were not going to do teshuvah, and therefore it was going to end the way it was going to end. But if they would have seen that it was Hashem who was doing all of this, if they would have learned the lesson of Yosef, then they would have been able to do something about it, and they would have been able to change it. Here in Ottawa, here in Ontario, we've again been placed in a lockdown. But I think we have to learn the lesson of Yosef and not make the mistake of the Jewish people. We can't say, look what the premier is doing to us, look what the government is doing to us. We have to realize that everything in our lives is from Hashem. Everything that happens is from Hashem. Like Yosef said to his brothers, you're not doing this to me. He didn't just say, you did something to me and I'm okay with it, I forgave you. He recognized that his brothers didn't do anything to him, because nothing could happen to him without Hashem. If we were being placed in a lockdown, again, although many of us might feel that it's unjustified, we have to recognize that this is not from the government. This is from Hashem. And Hashem is sending us a message. We have to dig deep in our hearts and figure out what that message is for us. Maybe we're not recognizing the amazing schus, the amazing merit is to have our shuls and to have our minyanim. So Hashem is turning that back a little bit. Maybe we're not getting along with people the way we should, so Hashem is secluding us once again. So now we have a choice to make. Are we going to make the mistake that the Jewish people made when they were locked in their city, when they were locked in their houses, and say that this is Nebuchadnezzar and we have to fight against Nebuchadnezzar? Or are we going to learn from Yosef HaTzadik? Are we going to learn from Yosef and recognize that if we're locked again in our houses, it's from Hashem. Me Elokim, it's from Hashem that this is all happening to us. Let's realize that everything that happens to us only happens to us because of Hashem. If Hashem is locking us in our houses, He's certainly sending us a message. Let's dig deep. Let's figure out what that message is. Let's show Hashem that we learned the message. And then Mirza Hashem will be saved from this immediate challenge, will be saved from coronavirus in general, and we can show Hashem that we truly learned all the messages that we need to learn. Hashem will bring Mashiach speedily in our days. Have an easy and a meaningful fast and a good Shabbos.